Hi guys, today is month 4, so I've finally reached month 4 since my transplant back in December. I'm really happy with the results so far. I'll just quickly see if I can zoom in and show you. I think the front's looking pretty good. Don't know if it's in focus because I can't see as it goes over my head. But yeah, so far I'm pretty happy. The last month it seems to be thickening up slightly, especially towards the front. So I had it transplanted little bits on the side there, a little bit at the front, a little bit on top, and towards the crown area, which is the sort of bald spot at the back. People keep saying to me about the crown doesn't look like it's as thick as the rest, and it's not. When you have a transplant, I'm not sure if they do it like this everywhere, but in Turkey especially, they always start at the front, give you a nice hairline so that you look like you've got a strong hairline at the front. Then they work back, so basically whatever's left over is put into the crown. In my case, I sort of thought, I don't know if I need that much at the front, but now that they've done it, I'm really glad that I did, because it's kind of filled the side bits in. And I really like the look of it now. It's sort of getting thicker every day. Between month 4 and 5 is supposed to be when you start seeing more of the thickness coming through. So yeah, at the moment I'm really happy with it. Like I said, I've got no fibres in or anything at the moment. This is just my pure hair from 4 months. The sides and the back I shaved about a month ago, so I've just been letting that grow. The top I've not shaved at all, not cut, not done anything with it. I've just left it since they shaved it when I had the op done. At the moment I'm just taking the biotin every day, the saw palmetto once a day, and the expedia, which are like vitamins, every day. I also take my normal multivitamins, which I've always taken. I did start using minoxidil. I found some in my wardrobe that I'd had for a while. It was still in date, so I thought I'd use it up. I've got about a month and a half left. It is the oily Kirkland one that I bought off of eBay a while back. I don't love it because it's so oily, and it just makes a mess of like your pillow and everything like that. So I'm letting that get used up. Once I finish with that, I've just bought off of Amazon, and I'll leave a link to it below. They do Rogaine, the foam, and they've got it on sort of offer at the moment. I think it's £34.99, that's British pounds, for 3 months supply, which I thought was pretty good. Because if you look on eBay where you can get the Kirkland foam, minoxidil 5%, it was around about the same price if you buy it from a British seller. You can probably get it cheaper if you get it from a foreign seller, but it takes a lot longer to come over. So yeah, from Amazon, £34.99 for 3 months of Rogaine, I thought, and it's the foam as well. That's the other thing. I did a video on the minoxidil. Like I said, I find it very oily, and a lot of people said try using the foam, it's so much better, it just sinks straight in, you can use it to style your hair in. So I've ordered some of that, so as soon as that comes in, once my old oils run out, I'm going to start using the foam. I put the minoxidil on just obviously the areas at the back, the crown, to try and help speed the growth up a bit, and on the front where I had it transplanted. It seems like in the last month the crown has started growing a little bit more. It's not as quick as the rest of the hair, but it's growing, which is the main thing. I can feel a lot of spiky little hairs coming through, so hopefully, yeah, it's going to be as thick as the rest. Bear in mind that when I had the hair transplanted, the sides, those bits there, most of it on top I already had, that was my hair, and that grows back really quickly. The bits at the front, they brought it forward a little bit, and those, I think they're called widow's peaks, at the sides, they transplanted the hair into. I was talking to someone this week, and they said that the hair, when you have a transplant, even with DHI, you're never going to get it as thick as sort of like your natural hair. You're always going to be able to see through it a little bit. And like I said before, I'm on 4 months, which means about 40% of the growth. So, I mean, people grow, their hair grows at different times and cycles, but it's around about 40%, and then all the way up to 12 months, which is when you're supposed to see the final results. I've had a lot of people saying about finasteride again. If you don't take finasteride, it's all going to fall out and all this sort of thing. I don't take it because I give blood regularly, and they will not allow you to take it. B, I've got a lot of friends who are like in their 60s or 70s. They might have a small bald patch on the back that they've had for 40 or 50 years. The rest of their hair hasn't fallen out, so why does everyone assume that your hair is going to fall out unless you take finasteride? I mean, I could be wrong, but I check the plug when I've had a shower, and I've got literally no hair coming out at the moment compared to what I used to have. And I do take the saw palmetto for this. Maybe it's helping, maybe it's just a coincidence, but overall I'm really happy with the way things are going. You know, you can sort of style it, you can do what you want. I'm still not cutting it until I get to the 6-month mark. Yeah, that's about it. The minoxidil, on the packaging it sort of says it's only for the crown area, and somebody left a comment on one of my minoxidil videos, and they were basically saying that the reason they say this is because the FDA, who authorise minoxidil in the USA, they have only tested it on the crown. That's why they're only allowed to say use it on the crown. But I mean, I'm using it at the front at the moment, as well as the crown, as well as the middle where it's a bit thin. So hopefully it's growing, and hopefully, like I said before, I will start getting more and more thickness as time goes on. I speak to quite a few people about hair regularly. They message me through Instagram or Facebook Messenger. I had somebody who'd been themselves, they don't want to be named and they don't want to name the clinic they went to, but they went to a place in Turkey as well, and they've got some comments that they said they might find useful to read out. So I've just got my laptop here, I'm just going to read them out to you. Okay, so just remember, different people experience things differently, so it's good to sort of get some tips from somebody else they had slightly different experience to me, but I think overall it's still pretty good. So first of all, at the clinic, the pain-free anaesthesia they didn't find it painless like I found it painless. They still found it quite painful, and because they didn't tolerate it very well, they kept asking to be topped up with the anaesthetic, which meant that, you know, it ran out quite quickly. They said the top-ups were only done with the normal needles and they weren't using the painless. Mine, they seem to use the painless whenever they put a needle in, apart from towards the end. Most of the staff at this person's clinic had very little English in the procedure room. Take a phone to play your own music or ask them to play some. Anything to distract from the sound of the grafts being extracted, because they use like a little sort of tool that makes a noise, or the crunching when transplanted. That's quite interesting because it does feel like a little bit of a crunchy noise when they put the grafts in. I didn't personally mind it, but I can see why some people might get a bit funny about it. Mine, I didn't ask for any music, they just put music on. They put music videos on. Some of it was new music, some of it was really like traditional Turkish sort of music. Again, I was quite chilled because I'd taken the pill they give you. Occasionally a vein can pop. As they don't know where they are in your head, they simply stop the bleeding and proceed. The doctor comes in to check. I'm not sure if I had a vein bleed, but I remember at the back, towards the end, they were really, it felt like they were plugging with cotton or tissue or something, trying to maybe stop the bleeding at the back. But, you know, I just let them get on with it. I didn't really sort of know what they were doing because I knew they were just putting the final grafts in around the back towards the crown. Be aware that when you finish the procedure, you may feel extremely sick and about to pass out when sitting up. This guy felt a cold sweat, heavy eyes and limited movement as he was about to pass out. Apparently it's a normal thing due to blood rushing away. The staff are very helpful. They laid him back down, lifted his legs and gave him a sugary drink to drink. He panicked, he said, because he didn't expect this. I didn't get that personally myself. I was okay. I've give blood regularly, like I said. I'm trying to get up to 100 blood donations. I've around about 54 now, I think. So I'm quite used to sort of getting up slowly after you've lost a bit of blood. I remember the first time I gave blood, I thought, oh, this is easy, you know, it's fine. Went to sit up off the bed, because in those days they didn't have the chairs that move up slowly, it was the bed. I nearly just passed straight out. So yeah, when your body's not used to it, it probably can feel a bit strange. Okay, his next tip is in Turkey, in the hotel, make sure you got some lira so you can tip the staff. He had a lot of room service because he wasn't feeling great for the following 2 days. He stayed there, I think, for 3 days. The exchange rate is great from Britain, and the staff go above and beyond to help you out, so tip them. When I was out there, I didn't actually have any room service because I just ate in a restaurant. I had my girlfriend with me, so yeah, we just went down for a meal each day. There's quite a few other guys wearing bandages and stuff, so the restaurant didn't really mind that. At the airport and transfers, this guy said, watch your head, and that's a very good point. When you come out and you're a little bit groggy, you know, the last thing you want to do is smack your head. And apparently the guy who he was sharing the taxi with, when getting back in, this guy smacked his head and it started bleeding on the roof of the taxi. They picked the grafts up, but there's not really much they can do with them after they've come out in a taxi. But yeah, it's a good point. I actually knocked my head when I was standing up in the seat in the plane to get off the plane. I knocked it on the luggage hold above the head. Luckily, it was really softly, and it was on a part that hadn't been transplanted. It was just like around there. Be sure to confirm your hotel and airport with the driver. Apparently this guy was taken to the wrong hotel, and the other guy that was in the taxi with him was also taken to the wrong hotel. They basically got them muddled up. This was a bit strange. When I went, you know, I kind of recognised my hotel. I think I was the only one in the taxi actually going home. Going back to the hotel, in the morning there was 4 of us, I think, or 3 of us going to have it done from my hotel. So they obviously took us straight to the hospital, but coming back there was just me. Yeah, there's a new airport in Istanbul, I've been told. I went to Ataturk, which was the old one. There's another one called Saw, I think, something like that, which is miles out, which they didn't want me going to, but at the time Ataturk was the big one. Literally overnight last week, I think, or the week before, they've closed Ataturk, and for passengers I think it's still used for freight. But now they've got this new airport, this massive airport, so just make sure that you get your taxi driver to take you to the correct airport. I mean, they should know anyway. But the other thing is, I've heard you have to have the e-visa now, and you have to have a printout of it for when you go from the UK. You have to show that to the staff. So if you go from Heathrow, you've got to, when you check in, they will ask for it. If you don't have that, I don't think they're letting you fly at the moment, so make sure you get your e-visa and make sure you print it off. If you don't know where that website is to get that, put a comment below and I'll list it. Basically, don't go to some of the dodgy websites that charge you $70. It's about $20 just over. That's all you should pay for it. Don't go to some of the dodgy ones that do it for you, because you'll be paying them like $50 for nothing. When you can do it yourself, it takes like 3 minutes. Yeah, this guy said he's used a travel card called WeSwap. They have an app you can upload and transfer into various currencies onto the card. It was useful as he put euros on it for the procedure and lira for items around Turkey. Good point. I myself get a Halifax Clarity credit card. I had an MBNA one, which gives you free cash back. I think I got 0.5% cash back. My clinic didn't charge any more for using a credit card, so I just used that. Both of mine didn't request that I told them before I left, but it's always a good idea to let your credit card company know before you're travelling. He's put, bring some tape. 3 of us in the clinic bought the 6-month aftercare package. They all found that the shampoo bottles the lids came open. So bring some tape to tape them closed if you buy them. It will save your suitcase on the way home. I didn't personally buy the aftercare package. Well, I just took what was included in my package, which was one shampoo and one of the, it had a few small bits, and I put that straight into my, I've got like a toilet bag I take when I travel anyway, so I just dumped it into there, made sure the lids were on, and luckily mine was okay travelling home. What else is put? Remember to add ons for your phone, so if you're going to use your phone out there and it's not included in your minutes and data, etc., make sure you add on a package before you go so that you don't get charged a fortune. I'm with 3 at the moment, and they are brilliant for most countries. Unfortunately, Turkey isn't included in my allowance, so what I did was I only used the free Wi-Fi at the airport, and I used WhatsApp basically. As soon as I got into the hotel, I put onto the Wi-Fi, so when I was out and about I didn't bother using my phone at all. I think even the hospital, yeah, they did. They had Wi-Fi as well, and you could switch that on there and put your Wi-Fi password in. So I didn't need to use any of my own data because I was using the Wi-Fi all the time. So that's what this guy said. But that's it basically. That's month 4. Pretty happy. Like I said, just taking the biotin, saw palmetto, and multivitamins and the Expedia, which I'm buying pretty much. I got 6 boxes when I was out in Turkey. It's quite hard to get in the UK. I think there's a few sites that sell it, and I think there's one on eBay, but they get it from Turkey, so it's quite a lot more expensive than what it was buying it in Turkey. When that runs out, I'm just going to carry on taking my biotin, saw palmetto. I'll leave links below for all of the pills that I buy off of Amazon. I'll also leave a link for the Rogaine. If you've got any questions or comments, just leave them below in the comments section. Also below I'll put links to my other videos and, you know, money off things that I've found where you can get money off. If you'd like money off of a hair transplant, leave a comment below and I'll get back to you. I can get some money off of transplants. If you want to save yourself a bit of money, let me know and I'll see what I can do. If you've got any questions at all though, just let me know. I'm more than happy that I've had it done. You know, you can sort of brush it back, and you know, some people were saying about the hairline at the front. They were saying a lot of people look like they've had a bowl put over their head and it's just like dead straight, and some of them they were saying were really high. Just remember, if you see all these photos of guys that have just had the op done, their hair will be, their head, when they got the headband on, it will be quite swollen, so that your hairline goes right up and it makes you look, basically you get no lines because it's basically got a lot of the anaesthetic and everything that's been injected. So when that all comes out, your hairline starts moving back down then. But like I've said before, I'm 44. I don't want to have a hairline down here because it'll look stupid. When I'm talking, you know, you don't want your hair going up and down as you're talking. You can discuss it with the doctor. If you feel they've drawn it on too high, you can tell them to draw a bit lower. They just make you go like that though, and your frown lines, they do it above that because you don't want when you're talking, your hair to be moving up and down. Also, I'm 44, I'm not 24. I don't want a 24-year-old hairline because it would just look a bit ridiculous. But no, overall I'm happy with it. It's thickening up slowly. The crown is starting to get there. I can feel little spiky hairs underneath. I can feel bits on top. Like I said, this is just my natural hair. It's no fibres, no wax, no products in there at all. It's just the natural hair. People still going on about shampoos. You know, some of them are spending a fortune on DHT blocking shampoos and all this sort of stuff. I've got my 95p shampoo from Home Bargains, caffeine shampoo. Sometimes use that. I did buy a Revigen one about a year ago, for the op, because I knew I was going to have the op, so I use that occasionally. I finished using the Dr Cinik one because I loved that one. The smell was amazing. It was a really nice smell. Apart from that, I wouldn't get too into the whole shampoo. I mean, it's up to you. If you want to spend a fortune on it, do it, but I personally don't think that a shampoo can make tons of difference. It's like the vitamins. I keep getting asked a lot about biotin, and I know guys that have taken no vitamins at all and they've got really great results, but I take them because, you know, they're pretty cheap anyway. If you buy a year's supply off Amazon, I'll leave a link below and which ones I get, but you know, it's probably about £15 for a year's supply, so it's brilliant. And they do make my fingernails grow quicker, and I think they just make the hair grow a little bit quicker, but they make it just thicker and stronger. So yeah, I take those. And I suppose the shampoo does make it sort of thicker and stronger. And like I said, the minoxidil I've started taking again. I don't love it because it's oil, but I don't want to just bin it, so I'm just finishing using that. And I have ordered the Rogaine because it was a pretty good price. I think it was reduced from about £68 down to $34.99. So I'll leave a link to that below. Like I said, any questions, just ask. Cheers, bye.